My name is Deb, and I was diagnosed with ALS 2.5 years ago. As most of us know, an ALS diagnosis is a life-changing moment. In the middle of that life change, there is joy. There is joy to be found in that we can continue to live our lives. I have the opportunity to have slowed down in my life and spend more time with family, friends, those I love, and those who love me. What helped me move beyond the diagnosis took a bit of processing, took a lot of prayer, took a lot of conversation with my family, and at the end of the day, I realized that I was still here and I still had work to do. We spent the first year doing what all too often patients are told to do. We expected that I would die and that I had a very limited time, and so we got our affairs in order, which should have been done anyway, and then we went to visit those folks that meant the most to us. A year later, I realized I was here for a purpose, and that purpose was to raise awareness, to help people understand, and to share that news with others. And so allowing myself to process it, to include the people who make a difference in my life, in the decisions that we make, and moving forward was what allowed me to live in this new normal, because this is a new normal. It is what it is. I have no expectation of getting out of this life alive, regardless of whether I have ALS or not. And so the ability to share the joy that comes with that, the ability to continue to spend time with family and friends and do the things that I love, is what allows me to enjoy my new normal. What do I wish I had known when I started this journey? I wish I had known how many amazing people I would meet along the way. ALS can very often be an isolating disease. People who have been friends who don't understand maybe step out of your life or step away, and that can be hurtful. But as we have moved forward through this journey, as I have said to more than one person as I meet them, hello fellow traveler, how can we enjoy today? And so that has been an incredible blessing. The second thing is that as I first started this journey, the thoughts of what can I do, what should I be doing, what medicine should I be taking, what is this really all about, asking questions and looking online and finding such an incredible variety of information. Reach out to someone, get a mentor, someone who is an ALS warrior, someone who has traveled this road before you. Listen to your doctor, find an ALS clinic, get information that's valid for you to make the decisions that are right for your family. I am incredibly grateful to have a neurologist who specializes in ALS, and also an ALS clinic and team that are responsive and answer questions, and are willing to talk to me. When I was first diagnosed, as for most people, I knew little to nothing about ALS, and I certainly didn't know anything about treatments. And so I was able to directly speak with my doctor, ask what treatments are available, what should my expectations of those treatments be, and the gift of his advice and wisdom put the information in my hands for me to make the choices that were right for me. He explained what had been approved. RADICAVA was certainly on that list. RADICAVA became part of that treatment plan. I have been on RADICAVA since about 2 months after my diagnosis. The only reason for the 2 months was the process of insurance and approvals and getting everything set up. It has made a difference. My progression continues to be very slow, and I am incredibly grateful for the opportunity to be able to have this medication. It has been appropriate for me, and it has not interfered with us living our lives. We travel, we are out and about as often as we possibly can, and the RADICAVA goes with us. My husband wakes up very early, much before I do every day, and so the medication sits on his side of the bed, and when he wakes up, he prepares the dose, gives me a little nudge to make sure I'm awake enough to receive the medication. It's administered, and I go back to sleep. I really don't know what he does, but within an hour or two, I wake up and it's time for a cup of coffee. The oral RADICAVA has been easy for me to fit into my schedule. Again, doesn't matter whether we're home, doesn't matter whether we're traveling, it is easy to take with me. One of the most difficult parts of coping and living with ALS is the unknown. We don't know if today is a good day. We don't know if today's a bad day, a low energy day, a discouraging day, and yet it's today. It's a gift. And having that gift every single day and looking at each day as a gift is what makes a difference for us. Certainly, as a pastor and a Christian, I have shared my faith over and over again, and that faith, that knowledge that this is not our home, we are traveling through, there's only one way out, helps, and knowing that today is today. I only have to deal with today. Embracing now with ALS, not knowing what tomorrow will bring, not knowing what next year will bring, is a challenge. But we can't dwell on that future. We know what the future holds physically, and yet we know that there are people, companies, processes in place to help make a difference. As I said earlier, I have met some of the most incredible warriors along the way. The community of people that are living with ALS that have strength and courage and boldness and the ability to stand firm on the gift that they have of today is awe-inspiring. From the earliest time, as little children, we have heard stories, we've been told stories, we tell our children and our grandchildren stories to help them learn, to help them understand, and to make big, hairy, scary things understandable and relatable and able to be taught. So the stories that we have, as each person who is living with ALS tells their story, as each person who is making a difference tells their story, we change another person. We allow others to step into our world for just a moment. We share encouragement with others for a moment, a day, or a lifetime, knowing that there is joy, knowing that life doesn't end with a diagnosis of ALS makes a difference. I know it makes a difference for me. It makes a difference for the people I share my story with. And so I would encourage you to share your story. Tell other people what's going on in your world. Let them in. All too often, as we want to not share the bad stuff, we want to keep our private lives private, and yet in order to keep the communication open, in order to have other people be willing to help, in order for other people to understand the process that we're going through, we need to tell our story. We need to reach out, we need to say hello, we need to say what's going on in our world. I would encourage you to share your story. Share your story openly, share your story honestly, and allow the people that are in your world or want to be in your world to know what's going on. Tell your story. Let people know what a difference they can make for you. Let them know what you need. Let them know what is ALS. Because all too often, most people do not know ALS. And so the way to make a change, the way to make a difference is to speak up, to speak loudly, to speak boldly, to speak courageously, and tell your story.
Indication: RADICAVA ORS edaravone is indicated for the treatment of amyotrophic lateral sclerosis, or ALS. Important safety information: do not receive RADICAVA ORS edaravone if you are allergic to edaravone or any of the ingredients in RADICAVA ORS. Before you take RADICAVA ORS, tell your healthcare provider about all of your medical conditions, including if you have asthma, are allergic to other medicines, are pregnant or plan to become pregnant. It is not known if RADICAVA ORS will harm your unborn baby. Are breastfeeding or plan to breastfeed. It is not known if RADICAVA ORS passes into your breast milk. You and your healthcare provider should decide if you will receive RADICAVA ORS or breastfeed. Tell your healthcare provider about all the medicines you take, including prescription and over-the-counter medicines, vitamins, and herbal supplements. What are the possible side effects of RADICAVA ORS? RADICAVA ORS may cause serious side effects, including hypersensitivity or allergic reactions, and sulfite allergic reactions. Hypersensitivity reactions have happened in people taking RADICAVA ORS and can happen after your medicine has been taken. RADICAVA ORS contains sodium bisulfite, a sulfite that may cause a type of allergic reaction that can be serious and life-threatening. Sodium bisulfite can also cause less severe asthma episodes in certain people. Sulfite sensitivity can happen more often in people who have asthma than in people who do not have asthma. Tell your healthcare provider right away or go to the nearest emergency room if you have any of the following symptoms: hives, swelling of the lips, tongue, or face, fainting, breathing problems, wheezing, trouble swallowing, dizziness, itching, or an asthma attack in people with asthma. Your healthcare provider will monitor you during treatment to watch for signs and symptoms of all the serious side effects and allergic reactions. Common side effects reported include bruising or contusion, problems walking or gait disturbance, headache, and fatigue. These are not all the possible side effects of RADICAVA ORS. Call your doctor for medical advice about side effects. You may report side effects to FDA at 1-800-FDA-1088. You may also report side effects to www.fda.gov/medwatch or Tanabe Pharma America Inc. at 1-888-292-0058. Please see the full prescribing information and patient information available at www.radicavaors.com.